Okay, I want to show you how to make a vented ridge out of sheet metal, which is some tubes and some bent sheets, which looks something very similar to this. And you can see that they've got slits down. That's because this is sheet metal, so I can actually pick on that. I can actually then unfold that and I will get that shape. And so you can then laser cut that out to get it correct. And the same thing for the ridge. If I was to look at the top of the ridge, these are not circles. These are, let me just pick on that, there you go. These are not circles, these are ovals. If I zoom in, you can see that they do not represent a circle at all because they're at a slope. And so obviously, you know, you can't just put a hole in there or punch a hole or something like that. So I'm going to show you how to make this very quickly, and I'm going to use some of our tools from our sheet metal up here to create that part. And I'm going to do it in a different way because this is not just a simple laying out of a sheet piece of metal. I'm actually going to use cylinders to do that, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we go to a new scene. I'm going to bring in a cylinder, I'm going to drop the cylinder down, and I'm going to pick on that cylinder. If I zoom in, I can drag and pull these sizes, and I can do whatever I want with them. But if I know the sizes, which in this case I do, I can just go in and edit the size box. I'm going to say I want that to be 100, and I want that to be 600. Done. Okay, so there I have my cylinder, and now I want some copies of that. So I select the part, turn on the tribal. I'm going to say I want to fix it in that axis, and right mouse click and say I want a link here. I want to do 3 in that direction at 200mm space, but I want to repeat it in the other direction as well. So there we go. Say OK and done. Turn off the tribal. If I pick any of the parts, you see that they go magenta. That says that they're linked. Now, actually, I got that wrong. I needed to change that. Actually, I need to change that size there, and it should be 100 minus 4 because I'm going to use 2mm thick sheet metal. Just say done, and you can see that they've all changed because they're all exactly the same. So if I pick on this one, you can see that that's 96 as well, and you can put expressions in and just use expressions. But the two end ones, if you remember, and I'll quickly pop back, are cut off. So what I shall do is I will unlink these two here. Okay, and that means that they're just copies, and that won't matter then. If I can change these and it won't affect anything else, because if I cut these off here, if they're all linked, they'll all be cut off across there. So what I'm going to do now is put in the sheet metal, and what I'll do is I'll go to our catalogue, which is a catalogue of stock parts and different types of lance points, dimples, bevels, you know, even punches as well. So what I'll do is I'll drag and drop a piece of stock on the top. I want to pick that point at that stage there and say, okay, I know that I want this to be a certain size, so I'll just click on that edge there. If I zoom in, and I can say I want both sides to be the same size. I'm going to go 1700, so it's going to grow 1700 divided by 2 each way. Done. And then I'm going to take this edge, and I'm going to right mouse click and say I want to the center point of there. That gets me to the center point of the circle, and I just pick on that point there and say I want that to be 150. So that's my one side done. Obviously I need to do the other side. Well, it's quite simple. We have different types of bend. You can just put an ordinary bend in. You can have an in bend and an out bend. Okay, and the difference between all three is a bend is just an ordinary bend. It will choose what it feels is the right thing to do. But if you've got a bend that you need the outside dimensions to be correct, when it puts a bend in the sheet metal, what it will do is it will keep the outside dimension right, on the in bend, we'll keep the inside, so the outside dimension will be the limiting factor, and if you had an out bend, the inside will be. It's counterintuitive, but when you think about it, you either have a cap fitting in or a cap fitting over, and that's what you're trying to do. One of the things I do notice on here is I haven't chosen the right stock. It's got the 0.3. Let's just change that, and you can edit this stock and put your own stock in. Now I want to just go, I don't want brass, let me go down to hot rolled 2mm. Let's say okay, put that one on, apply, done. Okay, so I've got 2mm plate on there, and what I want to do is put a bend on it. So I'm going to just choose an ordinary bend. I'm going to rotate it around because I want to pick that edge. I'm going to say bend on that edge, and it puts it at 90 degrees because the majority of them are, and we get these little points here. And what you can do with those points is you can switch direction. If I click on that, you see it goes up. If I click on that, you can go down. You've got the angle with which the other side can move. You've got the radius you can change, so you can make it thicker. It's using the K value, so it's worked that out already. Or you can change the angle relative to the other part. So we can pick on that, say edit angle, and I want to do 60 for argument's sake. And then you can see I've got an angle of about 60. Well, okay, I can then take that point and I can drag that out, and I can make that a size if I want to. I can double click on it and I can say that actually I have different options to choose. I just choose which one I want to use. I want it to be that one there, and I'll say I want that to be 150. Same as the other side. Done. So there I have my my vented ridge, but it's obviously in the wrong orientation. So I just pick that part, put a tri-ball on, which you then you'll use quite a lot, and just rotate that round 30 degrees. Okay, and actually I'm going to use the tri-ball again, so let's put the tri-ball back to the global orientation, put it back on, because I now need to move it down. I want to move it down. Should have done that first. It's one less step. You just move that down. I'm going to go down 200 millimeters. Well, there we go. We've got our vented ridge, but there's something different about it. So what do we need to do? So I think what I shall do now is I will go in and just take these two bits off. Okay, so I go to my feature and I click on trim. I'm going to pick that part. I'm going to choose the trimming part, which is the sheet metal, and the section to keep is that top one there. I'm just going to say finish. Done. Do the same again on this side. Pick that one. Pick that edge to keep. Sorry, then you have to pick that one, that edge to keep, and say done. So I've got the two bits there. Okay. Let me have a look at that diameter. Yeah, 96. I did change that. Okay, so what I want to do now is actually put some holes in there. So what I shall do is I shall go back to my starter catalogue, and I want to put the holes for those to fit in there. Now I know that they're 100mm. If I use these to cut, they're going to be different. They're going to be the wrong size. So just drag and drop a hole onto the centre of the geometry there, and I make it 100 diameter. I just drag it all the way through the part, and I say, actually I'll come out of that and I'll escape again. I need to actually make this the active part, because if it snaps onto the geometry, and then it would have just deleted that geometry, which is stupid. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set that as active, and then it will make it a lot easier that when I drop that hole on there and make that 100, it'll only work on the active part, so I'll just go through there, and that's done. And yeah, you can see that that's cut all the way nicely through, and there should be a small gap on that. And do the same on this side here. Make it, yeah, actually move away, make it 100, there we go, just drag and drop. Right, now I can go through and do all those steps one by one, which was a bit silly. Okay, so what I'll do is actually turn that off. If I go back to that hole again, there, if I put the tri-ball on, actually I want to fix that axis. I'm going to go along there, I'm going to link along here so the holes are all the same. I'm going to have 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, all 200mm spacing, and I'm going to say done. And it's cut all the holes through, and that's a much quicker way of doing that. So I can then set everything back to activate all, and if I now then click on this plate, I can unfold that, and you can see there I've got that shape that I required. And now, okay, I need to make sheet metal of this. I've got to do one more thing. So what I shall do is I shall put in a hole block on the centre here. Now if I zoom in on this, this is something that I'm just going to cut away. If I then pick on that part and say I want 1mm, nice little thin slice, that's going to be for your welding around your cylinder. Just move that across to there. I just want to break the surface, that's all I'm doing, and that's in the centre part. Zoom out, take it down to there, and I'm going to actually say yep, I'm going to accept that. Let's just take it up a bit. Done. And I have to do the same on these 2 here. So I do another one, so I just rotate this around, just put another block on there. Now because these are linked, the beauty is you can see put them all on there, shows you that's what it's doing. And if I click on that, I'm going to make that 1mm. There you can see it cut that through. And if I then grab the bottom part, just drop it down, zoom in a bit, I've just caught the wrong piece, there we go, and just take that part out there, there we go. Should have done that beforehand. Take it all the way down to the bottom, and it's 1mm, that's fine, accept that. And do the same on this side here as well. So I just put one on here, click on that so it's going to grow both sides 1mm, and then if I zoom in I can then just pull that all the way down and out, and if I just pull it in a bit because it just doesn't need to go over the halfway mark. There we go. So why have I done that? Well, there's a very easy and simple way. I'm going to use this tool. A command that we have is convert to sheet metal. So I'm going to pick this part here and I'm going to say I want you to convert that, all of these, to sheet metal. I'm going to use a custom stock. I could have set the stock up as default 2mm, I didn't do that, and just say OK. And there we have our cylinder. So if I now pick on this part here, and we can then unfold that, and we can see that that's the sheet metal. It'll give you the sizes, and the same with this one as well. And there you can see we've got that sheet vented bridge already done, and it's all the right sizes and everything for on there for us welding. Okay. Now there's one more thing I could show you as well. Actually, if I zoom out, is I've actually on this one, if I then go to this one here, if I go to our addings, we can actually put this into KeyShot, You'll open up KeyShot, and then we can actually do a picture of that. So we can just rotate this around a bit. So let's have a look like that. Let's do shiny gloss white on that part there, and let's go to metal. Let's do chrome. Let's do a nice basic chrome rough, chrome polish. Let's put chrome polish on that part there, so you can get some nice reflection. And if I go to I can look at the shadows and things like that. We can move this around, zoom in a bit, and let's just denoise that a bit. There you go. So that's what it looks like. Let's put some nice pictures on there. So let's render this as we are. Let's have a look, and let's put in a preset of that one, render it, and you can see that it will then produce a nice picture of some nice white painted, connected up to some chrome. And there you can see you've got some really nice finished article, which you can then put on your web pages or send to a customer or put in a brochure or something like that. And that's really easy to do. You can save that, and you can save it any format that you like. I'm just going to turn that off. So that's one of the things that how easy it is to use within IronCAD, and I hope you found it useful. If you've got any questions, then please give me a call. Cheers, bye.